On my video where I showed, actually it was a collab video where I showed, not a collab video, it was a video where I was showing another person bringing out all the different contradictions of the Bible. And this person actually said that actually proves the veracity of the Bible because different witnesses told different things about the event, completing the full picture. No, sir. And he goes on with the similar rhetoric throughout the entirety of his commentary, always talking about if that's the counter argument because it is, they thought that the writing was, wait a minute. They all thought they were writing the same thing, but as humans can experience the same thing and have different recollections. Okay, so here's the problem with your story is that these contradictions that are pointed out are not open to that type of an argument. You cannot have two people standing at the resurrection, and at this resurrection, his last words were my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Or, my God, they know not what they do. And both ones say that he said that and took his last breath. So meaning that's the last thing he said. So therefore you can't, that's not a contradiction. I mean, that is a contradiction. That's not the fullness of the story. The fullness of the story can't be that at the resurrection, you got Mary, but the other person is saying you got Mary Magdalene, Shalom, and Mary, mother of James. And then the other one is saying, well, it was just Mary and the other women, and it was Peter. You got one story that's talking about Peter ran to the tomb by himself. Another one saying that Peter and another man ran. The other story says that nobody ran to the tomb after that, and they just went on to the city. Those are not people completing a story. Either two people ran, or one person ran, or nobody ran. It's one or the other. It can't be multiples. It also can't be multiples as there was an earthquake and then the others say there is no earthquake and the stone was already moved away. Either there was an earthquake or there wasn't. I think that if an earthquake were to hit Atlanta right now, everybody would say there was an earthquake. Not there wasn't an earthquake when there obviously was one. That's a huge natural phenomenon. And for that earthquake to roll away a stone from a grave, it had to be a pretty damn big earthquake in order for that to happen. But nobody else in the city reported an earthquake at that time frame. Doesn't work that way. It does not work. And then in your story, as far as when Jesus was born, which is a video I just did the other day, when was he possibly born if he ever was born? Your story is disproved that he wasn't, possibly more than likely wasn't even born because they can't affix the time frame that he was born. According to one story, there was a census, and that's why Joseph and Mary had to travel to Bethlehem. But unfortunately, that census didn't happen to 6 CE. But according to the other story, he was born during the time frame of Herod the Great. Herod the Great died in 4 BCE. So he could not have been born after the census of Quirinius in 6 BCE, which forced the Joseph to go to Bethlehem. But also there is not one recorded census in the Roman Empire that forced people to go to their ancestral lands. But that would not, withoutstanding, was he born in 1, 2, possibly 3 BCE, or was he born after 6 BCE? But your stories conflict. And even scholars believe and say that Luke more than likely is the wrong story, which would then be a contradiction. So you might want to reconsider your thoughts and then reconsider the fact that at the end you say that the thing that mattered is that the thing that it proves is Jesus. That, let me make sure I get my glass because I don't want to misquote you, my guy. That Jesus performed miracles, died, and resurrected. One, you cannot prove that those miracles, any of those miracles happened. Matter of fact, the miracles are contradicted to one another. And anyway, did he feed 2,000 people or did he feed 6,000 people? So you can't prove that. And you can't prove any of your miracles. Where's your proof of the miracles? Your miracles is based on faith. And then that he died. If you cannot prove that he was born, then you cannot prove that that he died. You can't prove any one of those. Where's the tomb? I've been to Israel. That is not the tomb. Would have not even been possibly remotely the tomb. And then that he was resurrected. You have absolutely no proof for that. And if you can't prove that he was born, and you can't, then therefore you can't prove that he was died, then ipso facto, you cannot prove that he was resurrected. But you can prove that many other people had the same story prior to that. So you have a great day. And remember always, you have to free yourself to be yourself because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey. Good vibration.